Hi everybody, this is going to be chapter 11 from All Our Hidden Gifts by Caroline O'Donoghue. I'm trying to make a nice background so that you can watch in peace and listen. And that's my handicap. I want to do a podcast with a video. The timing is of essence with the sound and the pictures. So I hope you enjoy it. This is my 6th attempt, so I hope I succeed. Chapter 11. Now, the next morning I tried to convince Jo, that's May's sister, to let me stay at home from school because she was under questioned by the police and the police brought her home. If you want to catch up with the story, what has happened, then listen back to chapter 10. But no dice, she said. If Mum were here, she would let me stay home, I pleaded. My classmates yelling, "Witch, witch," across the yard is still echoing in my ears, vibrating like a can kicked around the alley. No, she says firmly. I'm out all day and I don't want you to stay home and watching the Kardashians and getting depressed. You'll only start blaming yourself and I won't be here to talk you out of it. I will drive you to school though. How is that for a compromise? Fine, I said grouchily, even though I know she has a point. In fairness to Jo, she did a pretty good impression of an ideal sister last night when the police were there. I talked all night about Lily and about the tarot consultancy and how our friendship fell apart when I started being friends with Naya and Michelle. It's not something I've talked to anyone about before. Mum and Dad did ask why Lily had suddenly stopped coming over, but I almost responded huffily, trying to imply that there was a fight that involved both of us and not just me. Lily's mum tried to bring it up with mine a few times. I heard them talking about it. It's such a shame, isn't it, Mrs. O'Callaghan would say tearfully. They'll come back around. Girls always fall out and make up again, Mum would respond. To this, Mrs. O'Callaghan would say nothing. She was too clever and too kind to say, "Well, not Lily. It must be that nasty cow of yours who's the problem." But I could tell she was thinking it whenever she passed me in the hallway or at the school gate. "Look, Maeve," says Jo. And Jo says with her arm around me, "You should have frozen Lily out. You shouldn't have frozen Lily out the way you did, but it's clear you feel terrible about it and have for a long time. When Lily comes back, you are going to apologize to her and ask her very nicely if she wants to be pals again. In the meantime, you can't take the responsibility for her disappearance." But I was the one who gave her the reading, Jo. I upset her. I said something disappeared, and she should disappear. Then she went missing. Excuse me. But didn't you give 20 other girls tarot readings as well? And they weren't all that rosy, were they? I bet some crazy cards came up there too. I suppose I say, and rest my head on her shoulder. Now this is where it really dawns on me that with stories like this coming alive and being made bigger, that's how tarot got a bad name. So that's why I'm reading also this book, because all these issues are coming up. So think about that one. The thing is, May, Lily has always marched to the beat of her own drum, even when she was really little kid. She's always been the sort of girl you saw in a crowd and thought, "Oh yeah, she's going to do something different now." Now, whether that's run away or join a cult or solve the world hunger using 3 toothpicks, I was never quite sure. I'm silent and we drive to school, turning this over and over in my mind. Joe's right about Lily. The air around her has always been charged and with something else. She's like a walking electromagnetic field. And there I was, her lumpy friend, who could just about grab onto the lowest rung of popularity and abandon someone truly great in process. Why wasn't I unique and strange? Why couldn't I solve the world with 2 or 3 toothpicks? The fact of the matter is this. I dumped Lily, but she would probably have been better off dumping me. I'm going to come in with you, Joe announces, when we get to the school gates. What? I want to talk to Miss Harris. I don't want the police to be howling you out or hauling you out of the class, trying to tap you up for more information about Lily. I could tell that Detective Griffin is not done with us, not by a long shot. Every morning Miss Harris stands outside the front door of the school until the bell rings, but she crosses the car park now, the moment she sees us. Good morning, Maeve, and you must be Joan, she said brightly, sticking her hand out to shake Joe's hand. Yes, Joe said nervously, and I remember briefly that she's only 24 years old to me. She's grown up, but to someone like Miss Harris, she's as much as a child as I am. Maeve's parents, our parents, are always on holiday. Are away on holiday at the moment. I would like to have a word about Lily O'Callaghan and Maeve's place in all this. Miss Harris nods. Yes, I think that's a good idea. Maeve, I was hoping to speak to you before class anyway. Would you like to come this way? Joe is amazing in Miss Harris's office. She's all firm and crisp, telling Miss Harris that I had nothing to do with the disappearance of Lily, and that 16-year-old girls shouldn't be brought in to something so serious. Then she says a bunch of embarrassing stuff about how I am not as tough as I look. A sentence that is completely annoying because there's no good way of responding to it. I can't say, yes, I am, because it makes me seem petulant, but I can't say you are right. Correct, I'm a hairless worm. Please go on, Ida. I quite agree with Miss Harris. Miss Harris says tightly, I think it's best if, for the good of Maeve and for all the girls, we minimize her involvement in this. I've been teaching in girls' schools a long time, and once something gets into the water, it's very hard to control it. Fads start and they are quickly followed by a kind of mania, one that brings out the worst in people. I believe the story going around is that Maeve is a witch. I flush red. Yes, I say. I mean, no, I'm not one, but that is what they said yesterday. And that you have been reading tarot cards for other girls on your lunch break. Yeah, I was harmless. It was harmless, though. Ask anyone. It was just a bit of fun. For them, it was a bit of fun, and for them. Even so, I decided that from now on there will be an official ban on tarot cards and more broadly occultish things. So no cards, no spells, no Ouija boards and no incense, no sage. At this, Miss Harris produces a shoebox full of things that I've had been keeping in the chukki. That's the storeroom cupboard. Everything I brought in definition and divination that was a shop with New Age stuff besides tarot. All that I had thoughtfully arranged to turn the cupboard into my own little magic shop has been reduced to a couple of bits rattling around in a cardboard box. I've never felt like more of a child. Do you have the tarot cards with you today, Maeve? Yes, they are in my school bag. Can you, take them out, please? I unzip my bag and take them out. The cool weight of them still comforting and solid, despite the trouble that they have given and caused. Give me the tarot cards, Maeve. Why? What? Why? She stumbled. They are banned from school, and I'm concerned that some of the girls will start asking you for readings outside school. I'll just say no, I protest. You won't say no, Miss Harris says, and the coldness comes into her voice, like she knows how easily I can be persuaded into doing things if it means that people will like me, so I'm not giving you an option to say yes. I can see that Jo wants to rush to my defense, but that silently she agrees with Miss Harris. I feel betrayed. Please, miss, I pleaded. They are mine. Actually, they are school's property, and frankly, Maeve, I should be giving you a behavioural correction for using the cupboard without permission. You purposely didn't return the key to me. Please return it now. She had to clean out because she got punished to clean out the store. But that's in chapter 1. Me and Miss Harris have never been best friends, but I've always thought that deep down, the sort of like me, or at the very least, she had faith that I was basically okay person. The way she's speaking to me now goes beyond gently chiding and misbehaving student. It's like she thinks I'm a criminal. The finish. I fish the key out of my pencil case and give it to her. Without a word, Miss Harris opens her bottom desk drawer and places the tarot cards in there, locking the drawer with a little key. Now I believe you have geography first, don't you? You can head there now, unless you have anything else to say. Jo gives me a small, I think that's a misprint. Jo gives me a smile. It's not small. I've done everything I can do. Smile and gets out of her hair. And I do, and get out of her hair. There's some mistakes here in the book. Sorry, guys. I'll be at home later. Give me a text if you need a lift from the bus stop. I don't want Miss Harris to know she's won, so I saunter out of the room like I couldn't care less. My school bag flung over my shoulder. I can sense the lack of the tarot card's weight immediately, and suddenly I feel like my tether to the earth's surface is very fragile, like I might float away and disappear just like Lily did. Before I leave the room, I turn around to face Miss Harris again. Miss, I say, shy all of a sudden. Have Lily's parents asked about me at all? Because you know I'll be happy to talk to them like I did to the Guardia. So that is the police. Must be Gaelic. Oh yes, Miss Harris responds. They have quite a lot to say. I wouldn't worry, Maeve. The police has passed on any relevant information. I think it's best for you to let the O'Callaghan's have their space for now. Rue's face swims into my head, and my pulse quickens. Is he still wearing my lump of rose quartz underneath his clothes? I picture it. hitting the bare skin of his chest, and feel a blush creeping up my neck. Poor Mr. and Mrs. O'Callaghan. I keep picturing Mrs. O'Callaghan's face when she finds Lily's bed empty, the hammering on the bathroom door, her confusion turning to panic, the raw ripe fear of realizing her only daughter is missing. Classes are a nightmare. I had been afraid that after yesterday's witch chant the others would keep well away from me out of terror, and that they too would disappear in the middle of the night. The reality is much worse. People are clamouring to speak to me, but only want to talk about Lily, about the witchcraft, about the tarot. They are rumours, of course. There have been wild stories about Miss Harris finding Lily O'Callaghan voodoo dolls in the Chucky cupboard. There's another about Lily is not missing at all, but dead. That she killed herself after being taunted by me on Friday. They gather around me at lunch, desperate to be the one who shakes more information out of me, as angry as I am to have my tarot cards confiscated. As angry as I am to have my tarot cards confiscated, I kind of see why Miss Harris needed to do it. Maeve, I've been so worried about you, Nia says, tugging at my shredded sleeve of my school jumper. People were saying you used to bully Lily, but I told them that was a load of bollocks. You were her friend, weren't you? In primary school, I mean. Why Nia saying this like she has nothing to do with the fact that me and Lily are no longer friends? How can she look at me, her eyes pricked with tears and concern, as if she's completely innocent in all this? It's just so sad, she continues. I couldn't sleep last night because I was so worried about Lily. Suddenly I can't take it anymore. I can't sit here and look at Nia pretending to cry because she's upset about a girl she despised from day one. Nia, are you freaking high? Oh God, I'm shouting now. Why am I suddenly shouting? You didn't give a shit about Lily. In fact, you are the reason I pretended not to give a shit about her when she was my best friend I've ever had. And now you are going to pretend like you are so concerned? Nia blinks at me. Her tears thicken, now running down her pretty face in even streams. Why are you yelling at me? I'm on your side. There are no sides. I didn't do anything. Silence. Every single word of my classmates are staring at me. Right, Nia, counters coolly. You didn't do anything, Maeve. At the end of the day, I picked up my school bag to find that someone had written witch on it, in permanent ink. I pretended not to notice it, not wanting to give anyone else satisfaction of seeing me squirm. It's only when I am on the bus home that I realize whoever wanted to call me the witch changed their mind. The W is crossed out and with a very sure hand has been replaced with a B. Wow. We're going on to chapter 12. Take care. I hope you enjoyed it.